Hey crafters, today I'm going to show you a fun fold that has been popping up everywhere. The Concertina Fun Fold. It's one of the most talked about fun folds, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to create. Let's head down to the crafting table. Let's do this. Here it is. Look at this card. You pop it open and look how cute that is. Now, I've made a few changes to this card to make it even easier to create. The first thing you need is a base card, and this base card is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, just your normal A2 card. Now, we're going to go ahead and bring in our bone folder and give this a good crease. Now, let's go ahead and put our mat on the front of this and look at the color that I've decided to bring in. Look at that. Now, this pattern paper is from some beautiful pattern paper called Gathering Together. And we just love it because of the fall colors. But let's go ahead and attach this to the front of our card. And we're just making sure that we have the same margins top to bottom and side to side. The next thing we want to do is create the insert that we need to put. Now, you could go ahead and add some mats on the inside, but putting this insert and then putting the area that has a concertina where it goes back and forth like an accordion kind of makes it thick. It'll be about 1/4 of an inch thick. And so we are not going to add any more weight to this card. So the next thing that we want to do, let's just put that to the side. We want to grab a piece of cardstock that is 8 1/4 by 5 1/4, and we scored it at 4 1/8. Just to give us another folded card, but it's a little bit smaller. Now we need to make a few little ticks. So we're gonna go ahead and turn our cardstock just like this. And right here on this score line, very easily, you're gonna bring in your ruler and you're just going to measure up. Now, if you can't see your score line, go ahead and just put a little mark right there. You can erase that in just a minute. But what we want to do is measure up 1/2 inch and put a tick mark. And then we want to measure down 1/2 inch and put a tick mark. But we also need that centered right in the middle. And the way to get the center of this card is go ahead and just measure 2 5/8. So we have 2 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just put a little mark right there. Now all we've done is we've taken the score line, the middle of it, which is 2 5/8. We have put a tick mark 1/2 inch above and 1/2 inch below. Now all we have left to do is look at the top of the card. We are going to put a tick mark at 1 1/2 and scoot it on over and put it at 3 3/4 right there. Now do the same thing. Flip it over. Put a tick mark at 1 1/2 and 3 3/4. And now you have all the tick marks that you need. We're just going to draw some lines so we know where to cut. So put your ruler at the tick mark here and match it up to this dot right here. And draw a line. Do the same thing over here. Grab that tick mark that you put right in the center of your page, right there, 1/2 inch above the score line, and draw a line. We've created a V. Now we're going to flip our card over and we're going to do the same thing. Put your pencil at that little tick mark at the bottom. Match it up to the tick mark at the top. We're just making a slanted line. And do the same thing over here. Put your pencil on the tick mark, rotate until you come to that top tick mark and draw a line. And there we have our area that we are going to cut out. Now, you can use your trimmer for this, but I think it's just as easy to use a pair of scissors. Go ahead and grab it and just cut it. Now we're going to turn it over and we're going to cut out this triangle. And pretty much that is all you have to do to create this beautiful card. Just going to cut this one out. Go to the other side. Now go ahead and bring in your eraser, and we like to use the mono eraser that's in our Amazon store, and just erase any marks that you have. It does an excellent job of getting rid of those pencil marks and not making it gummy and just smearing it around. So anywhere you have a pencil mark, go ahead and do that. There are some designs that go ahead and they put some panels here, but we found just embossing it turns out so pretty. Look at that. So we're going to go ahead, grab an embossing folder, a large embossing folder. We're using Forever Plaid. And we are just going to add this to the inside right here and run it through the embossing machine. And let's check this out. Look at how pretty that looks. You don't need to add extra weight and extra thickness to this. Now, the way this is going in our card is find where you've already scored it. This is how we're going to glue it in, just like that. Now, we want to go ahead and do that. So go ahead and fold it over. Make sure it lines up. Make sure this is right at the score line. And because I do not want it to wiggle, I'm going to grab me a tape runner and I'm just going to put some tape right here on the edges. So just right there, a little bit of tape. And now, making sure that it's right against the edge, I'm going to just fold over my card, just like that. And now we have this side taped down. We're going to do the same thing. Just add some tape right here to the edge, about 3 strips. And just fold over your card. And now we have this beautiful base. Look at that, so pretty. But this part is not attached. So it can pop up just a little bit if it wants to when you go to open it up. So now we have the inside of our card. Now remember, we're gonna make 2 of these just so that we can have the experience and you'll feel comfortable making this card because we want you to make this card. This card is all over the internet, and like I said, we've adjusted it a little bit to make it even easier for you. So the next thing we want to do is create the concertina, the part that actually is like this. Do you see that? So easy to create. So we have taken a piece of cardstock that is 9 by 3, and we're going to add some score lines to it. So bring in your trimmer. Extend your arm, and we are going to score at 1.5, at 3, and you can just scoot it on over, at 4.5, at 6, and 7.5. And now we need 2 of these pieces of paper. So we're gonna turn it on the short side and we're just gonna cut it at 1.5 because this is 3 inches. So we're gonna cut it straight in half. So go ahead and put it at 1.5. And now we have our two pieces. So let's go ahead and fold this. Find your score lines. Here they are. Valley, fold down, fold to the right, fold to the left, fold to the right, fold to the left. Grab your bone folder, give it a good crease, even on the inside. Make sure and don't miss any little score lines that we need to give a good crease to. And there we have it. Do you see how that sits? It can be a W, it can be an M, whatever you want it to be. Now let's grab the next one and do the same thing. We're going to fold to the left, fold to the right, fold to the left, fold to the right, fold to the left. Let's give that a good crease on the inside as well. Turn it over. Do it again. And here we have our beautiful little area that is going to concertina us right on the inside of that card. Now the next thing that we have, we're just going to take a piece of paper and we have cut 1 1/4 inch squares. So you will need 12 squares. And we decided to do 6 of one color and 6 of another. Now we decided to use this beautiful stamp set, beautiful pumpkins, and we're using the smaller pumpkin to create our background. So we have our blank squares right here, and we are just going to bring in peach pie and pumpkin pie as our two colors that we're going to work with, a light orange and a darker orange, because this particular stamp gives us some definition. So let's go ahead and just stamp our background first. So tap, tap, tap. I'm just going to add a pumpkin right there, maybe one right in the center, and then just one over here. There we have that. Now what I need to do is go ahead and bring in the definition to those pumpkins, right? This is the next stamp. So I'm going to open up this darker orange or this pumpkin pie, and let's get in close so we can see the definition that we're going to have. So tap, 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 and I'm just going to line it up. The next thing I want to do is get us some leaves on there. Now I am using this vine, but I'm just going to ink up a portion of it. And I'm going to use Old Olive. So you can see I just inked up a portion of it. I need to add the stem and we will be done with our pumpkins. So we're just going to straighten this out just a little bit. And we are going to decide, what do we want to see? And I think I want to see a pumpkin right here on the first part. So I'm going to just add some tape because I really don't want it to wiggle wiggle. And then I'm going to add our next color on both pieces of this concertina tab. Now, when you create yours, you can just use pattern paper if you want to. That's not a problem. Let's bring in our next one, stretch it out just a little bit, and go ahead and decorate it. We're going to start with a pumpkin right here again. Okay, and now we are ready to add this to our card. So let's bring in our card. Before we add this to our card, if you're going to stamp something on the back because you have used white cardstock, this would be the time to do it. So let's go ahead and just stamp some leaves. Look how pretty that is. Next, we're going to open this up, and we are going to just fold it just like this. We're going to put our tape right here. Now make sure if you have directional images that they're not upside down. Just going to put some tape because I do not want it to wiggle wiggle. And we are going to line it up right here on the insert. So here's the little tab, and I'm just lining it up right at the top and on the side. Just like that. There'll be a little bitty space right there. So we have it just like that. Now do the next one. Fold it over. Let's add our tape. Take your tab right here, and we're just going to line it up right here in this bottom corner. And fold it over. Now all we need to do is close this, add our tape, do the same thing to this one. Hold them down and close the card. You're going to take the card to your concertina strip and look at that. Oh my goodness, so pretty. But we're not done yet. We want to decorate this area just a little bit. And when you do that, you don't want glue on everything. You only want glue on the insert because you want it to be able to pop up just a little bit. So I'm just going to add it just like this, just to get some leaves. So I only want to put glue on the very tip and the very tip down here. So what I would do is you can just go ahead and add a little bit of tape right here to the insert if you know where you want it, and I do. So I'm just going to add it just like that. And it doesn't hold it down. Pops up if it needs to. Look at that. So pretty. And now I've cut some more leaves from that beautiful paper, and I stamped a little message right there. So I'm just going to lay that down right here on my leaves. And I'm going to put a little bit of tape on the edges. We're going to grab it, and there we have the inside. Look at that. Now, when you go to close it the first time, just go ahead and grab this little area right here just to train it to close. Look at that. Closes perfectly, stands up. This card is meant to stand up because look how pretty that is on the inside. And now all we need to do is decorate the outside. I have 2 mats. I'm going to stamp my message and add a little bit of decoration on it. And look at this card. You pop it open and it is so pretty and so easy to create. Now, like I said, look at the embossing on that insert. It pops up a little bit. Do you see how it pops up right there? So that's why you don't want to glue it down, so it can pop up a little bit. But there you have it. Closes perfectly. Are you ready to make another version of this? Remember, the first thing you need to do is grab you a piece of cardstock and just make a regular base card. 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. We're going to bring in our bone folder, give it a good crease. And we are doing something very special with the front of this card. Now look at this paper, so pretty. It's from that set. But we are going to use Layers of Beauty for our sentiment, and we're using Amber Autumn for a sentiment, but we're also using this beautiful die that has leaves with it. So pretty. But like I always say, if you don't have that, use what you have. So let's go ahead and lay this down. Now this time we do want some wet glue so that we can wiggle, wiggle if we need to. We're going to lay that down. And then we cut out those beautiful leaves. Look at that. Just gorgeous. And we are laying that down on the front of our card. Now we don't want glue everywhere, so we're just going to put glue on the outside rim right here. So just a nice little bead of glue. Just line it up with the edges. We're using stylish shapes and this die right here to create the sentiment that we're going to put on the front of this card. And we're just going to put it right in the center, just like that. And we're not going to set it up. We're just going to use our tape runner. So let's do that. Let's just add it right now and get it straight. Now, if you're worried about getting it straight, you can bring in your T-ruler. This is in our Amazon store. Love this. Just line it up, get it right in the center where you want it, and then you can just add it and you know that it's going to be straight. And there we have it. Now let's move to the inside of our card. We need our insert. So we have simply cut another piece of cardstock. Now stay with us to the end because I have those 2 Christmas concertina cards to show you, but I also have a little special gift for you. So this card, the insert is cut at 8 1/4 by 5 1/4. Now we went ahead and we scored it at 4 1/8. You turn it just like this and we just make a few little tick marks. Let's go ahead and put our tick mark on the middle part of our score line, which we know is 2 5/8. So what does that look like? Here's 2, and then here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We put a little tick mark right in the center. And then all we have to do is measure from this score line. Now, if you can't see this score line, go ahead and draw. You know where to measure. Because remember, we're going to erase that. Not a problem. Sometimes when you're working with white, you can't see it. So all we're doing is we are measuring right from the center, a half, and we're putting a little tick mark right there. Then we're going to do the same thing below it. Just put it on the line and mark a half right there. Now we have the center done. So now all we have to do on the top is put your ruler. We're going to put a tick mark at 1 1/2 and at 3 3/4. Flip it over, put a tick mark at 1 1/2 and 3 3/4. And now we're going to draw our line so that we can cut. And we want to be right in the center and right on this line right there. So we're going to go to the center. We're going to go right there and we're just going to draw our line. Just like that, so that we know where to cut. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to go to the center, which is right here. Rotate to that line at the top and just draw a line. Flip it over, do the same thing. We are drawing a line from the center, right here, rotating it to the top tick mark up here. Same thing on the right. Put your pencil, rotate until you come to that tick mark and draw your line. And that's all you have to do. Now all we need to do is cut it. Grab your scissors. You can see exactly where to cut. Cut straight up to the point. Cut the other side. And now just erase all your marks. Once again, we love mono. does an excellent job. Put it in your embossing folder and let's emboss. And here we go, look at that. So pretty. We're gonna go ahead and fold it over right where we place that middle score line. And now, this is where we add it. We add it right to the center of our card, just like this. Make sure that you have the same margin at the top and the bottom. Add a little bit of tape right at the end and fold your card over. Now flip it over and do the same thing. Just add your tape right here at the end of your insert. And now fold it over. And there we have it. Now this middle part is loose. You see that, right? It pops up just a little bit. Now we have the inside completed. Now all we have to do is create our concertina strip. So we are taking a strip of cardstock that is 9 by 3. We have already scored it, and this is at 1.5, 3, 4 1/4, 6, and 7.5. We're going to put it in our trimmer on the short side and cut it in half. That will give us our 2 strips that we need. Just like this. Now remember, we're going to fold to the left, the right, the left, the right, and the left. And let's give it a good crease on both sides. Same thing on this one. We're going to fold to the left, fold to the right, the left, the right, and the left. Give it a good crease. And now we have our concertina strips. Look at that. Now all we need to do is decorate them. And we have some beautiful paper squares that we have cut. And let's go ahead and lay them down. Now bring in your silicone mat. And let's start with the leaf. Once again, we're using our tape runner. We're going to add some tape on this side. And we're lining it up with this corner to the insert. Not the card, but to the insert. We're going to add some glue on this side. Line it up in the bottom left-hand corner. And now just fold them back, add your tape. And bring your card over to your strip. And look, how pretty is that? And really so easy to create. Now all we need to do is add some images right there. And we're going to add our sentiment. And look at that. Now we just need something on this side. And here we have the inside of this card. How pretty is that? This center part right here pops up a little bit because we didn't glue it down. So it pops up. It's embossed on the inside. So pretty. Let's look at each of the cards. Here's the other one that we created. Now, this is the one I showed you earlier. It's a Christmas card. We stamped this background ourselves with one of our stamps. You open it up and look at that. So easy to create, but this is a keeper. This is a keepsake that they will put on their mantle or desk. And finally, we have this one. Look at that beautiful paper. You open it up. So take a moment and let us know which is your favorite. Are you making some Christmas cards? Or are you making some seasonal fall cards? Which is your favorite? Now remember I said I had a surprise. So take a moment and take a screenshot of the measurements. And we hope that we inspired you today to make this pop-up concertina card. We tried to change just a few things to make it as easy as possible for you. We hope that you take a moment and like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and that we earn that because we certainly appreciate you watching and commenting on our videos. Well, until next time, Amadi and I hope you have lots of creative moments. Bye-bye.